All right, we're live on Hangouts. That means we must be live on from gun channels, and we're live on YouTube. So there we go. And we got an active crowd in here today. I mean, we got Rob D. New York was the first in. Then we got Sean, Rich White, Midnight Rain starting the food chat. He's blaming Sean for that.
I'm guilty.
Yeah. We got Patriot in the Dark in there. Black Cat Outdoors. And over on Gun Channels, we got Sean we'll be doing triple duty because he's on the panel today. Rich White over here too, David Bolin. So the poor conservative just joined us. All right, let me go through my panel here. First one is Sean. How you doing?
Pretty good. I've got a paltry little YouTube channel, just doing like gun reviews and reloading videos until YouTube shuts me down. But thank you for having me.
No wrong. Next one, Patriot in the Dark.
Well, good afternoon, sir. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
No problem. The next one, Dave the Kingpin Bolin.
Hey, how's it going, Rick? Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Back to Patriot. What were you saying before I kicked off?
Oh, no. I was just going to say for the record that the UK may have firearms, but there are no pistols after 97.
All right. That works. Hey, I forgot to do my opening from Welcome, live from the crossroads of America.
I wasn't going to say that, but
here, I'll do it now to a talk. This is 1 hour, but it's not on Saturdays. It can run to 2 hours. A talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. We'll answer questions from the audience. Just put them in the chat or email me at Rickslifeasiseeit at gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. We're also broadcasting on gun channels and YouTube at the same time. I got a Patriot account, got a Spreadshirt account. Also, if you can't make it or you want to listen to past episodes, I have the audio files on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. This one will be up within 24 hours of the show ending. So, now we got Squib joined us. How you doing, Squib?
Doing all right. Broadcasting live from work.
With the forklift.
Yeah. Mr. Why is Mr. Forklift more popular than me?
Patrick's joined us in the chat. John Brown Productions. Well, I got to do my 200 giveaway. I hit it today, so I'm going to do it in this show. And of course, we got last week's quiz question to do as well. So, what should we do first? Should we talk for a little bit and do the drawing in a little while? Get more people to get in here? What do you think, guys?
Have at it.
Well, do the drawing now?
Yeah, it's a pretty big event.
Might as well.
All right.
Okay,
hang on.
Start. They should be here already.
For the drawing, let me see if I can get this worked out right. Where is it? Oh, come on. I had it all worked out. Oh, hang on. Everything's gone wrong.
Got to do it the British way. It's gone tits up.
Yes, it has. Is it sharing right now? Or not?
Oh, yeah, we see your screen.
What's it showing?
My show podcast, Blind Shooter, and everyone.
Okay. I'm trying to get rid of that. It won't go away.
Close your screen share, start a new one, and then pick the window that you want it to be.
Okay. All right, let me You son of a bitch. Aha, this is what I was looking for. Okay, got it now. Okay. I think got it. All right. Can you see that?
I see the stuff. Yes.
Okay, the patches there and stuff. That's the second prize.
My kingdom for that bacon pancakes patch.
You know, and then this gun holder for pistols for your safe. There's 2 of them on this one, and they're being supplied by David the Kingpin Bowling, which I really appreciate. So that's the prize on there. All right, let me stop sharing that one. Now, here if I can find it. I was learning how to do this morning before my my internet. I'm on my mobile hotspot right now because my internet sucks. Here we go. Can you guys see that? Pick a winner.
Running a contest on this video. Click the button to pick a random
Okay,
commenter.
this is on this video here. I don't know if you can barely see it. It's on. I said anybody who wants to enter on the update video. I had 32 entries. So I'm going to pick the winner, and this will give us. Should I do the second first or the first? What do you think, guys?
First winner.
Yeah, I'd do the first.
Okay, so this is going to be the winner
Oh,
for this.
wait. You're talking about who gets what prize?
Yes.
You got to do it like Miss America. Runner up first, winner second.
Okay. Okay. So this is for the patches. All right, and they are. What you call it? And I got them all here. I'll show them to everybody again in a minute. So here it is. Okay, come on. Where are you? Oh, come on.
Good time. It's all right.
Oh, son of a bitch. When you want something done, it won't work. Come on. Why won't it let me do it? It's done it to me again. Hang on a minute, guys. I'm all screwed up again.
You have to forgive Rick. He's on a tethered connection right now. His internet.
Yes, I am.
Weird.
Okay. So not that one. Okay, so where in the hell is it? Aha! Here it is. Okay. Now let me try it. Now can everybody see it?
We see screen you're sharing. Yes.
Yeah, the contest winner. Here we go.
Yep.
Pick a winner. This is for the runner-up for the patches.
If I win, this is not rigged.
Travis T.
Hey.
is the winner.
He's a winning guy. Congratulations.
So that's for the patches. Now for the main prize of those 2 pistol holders for your gun safe. And the winner is Phil M. Rivers.
Congratulations.
He's a new sub. So there we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So there we
Good
go.
job.
It was on this one right here. There was 32 comments. So that's where I got them from.
Phil and Travis are both really good dudes, by the way.
I better write that down for I remember. Phil Rivers and Travis T, right?
Yes, sir.
Travis T. Okay. Phil Rivers is the #1 winner. All right. That was for those 2 things. And I said, patches, the best one in here is the pancake bacon
Yes.
one. Not only is there a patch, there's also a sticker. And of course, there's mine, and there's 1776 here, and I think there's one other. Oh, yeah, military arms. So that's the that's that. All right. I'll wait another 20 minutes before I do my last week's prize giveaway on the quiz. So we're starting off. Okay. I'm quite glad I did that, and I've done it right. It took me, a little bit of there on the old sharing thing, but I got it going.
Well done.
Yes. All right. So I got a question before we get started. I watched your video the other day about the magazines, David. I mean, you got some weird laws there in Maryland. You really have.
Yeah,
But
that's just the beginning.
but the bit that I'm confused on, right? You said if say I came to Maryland and gave you a 30-round magazine, that's illegal.
Correct.
How do they know I gave it to you?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, I guess hypothetically, if there was a cop standing there at the range and he saw you hand me the magazine and he saw me put it in my bag and walk away, then that's he could confiscate it and probably arrest both of us.
Okay, but theoretically, unless they actually catch you in the act, it's unenforceable.
It's just a scare tactic. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just it's a simple scare tactic that if you do this and you get caught, we're gonna nail you. So people are like, well, it's not worth it to me. Just like the speed limit. I mean, there's miles and miles and miles of highway all over this country, and there's very few police officers, but I still do the speed limit everywhere I go because I don't want to get a speeding ticket.
Yeah. If anybody wants to join the chat, I put the link to join the panel over on Gun Channels. Yes. Okay, then the next, yeah, that's weird. I mean, I thought Rhode Island was bad when I was living there, but
Ultimately, you just have to get snitched out because they wouldn't be able to, like, if you made one in your garage, they'd never be able to tell. The only way that you're definitely not getting it done is through an FFL or through the internet or like an actual store here in the state because they've got insurance purposes and all kinds of other legal stuff that they got to deal with, and they don't care enough about you to ruin their business and end up in federal court. But person to person stuff, unless you're caught, then there's no way to enforce it.
okay. I just wondered because I was thinking that when you when I was listening to it, I said, well, if I gave it to them, how in the hell are they gonna know? Yeah, it's just weird. And it's
Now
gonna
would
get weirder.
now would it be against the law for you to bring it to Maryland if
Well,
we were
me
No.
visiting?
me myself, no.
No, anybody can bring whatever kind of, magazine you want here, and I can go get whatever magazine I want from whatever state that I'm in that it's legal to do so and bring it back.
Oh,
It's
you
just
just can't transfer it.
anything inside, like if you're here at my range and you want a couple 30-round mags, we drive across the border, I can give them to you, and that's fine. But I can't inside the border of the state of Maryland is where all these laws are in effect.
So, David, when I come down there so we can have our bowling match, if I maybe forgot and accidentally left a couple of those magazines just laying around, is that a problem? You know, I mean, because sometimes I forget stuff. I might leave like a spare phone charger too or something.
Well, and see, there also is the catch behind the stupidity of the law. Why, once again, it's just a scare tactic to say, hey, this thing is over here, and if you do bad and you get caught, there's something going to happen to you. People make mistakes. People leave, like you said, a phone charger behind or anything else like that, and it'd be no different than that. Or if I accidentally, we're sitting at the same bench at the gun range, and I accidentally pick up one of your mags and put it in my gun case. Accidents happen, stuff like that. So you'd have a pretty tough time going to court and getting found guilty because they'd have to prove intent, which is very difficult to do in most cases, especially something like that. But they don't care about that. They just, like I said, they said there's a boogeyman down the street, and if you go down the street, he's going to get you. So nobody goes down the street.
So, do you think the politicians just pass these laws so it looks like they're doing something? Because it's all about doing something.
Well, no, I think that they pass these laws because they think that they're going to be effective. There's some of them out there that I think are just doing something and know that it's not. They're just appeasing the people that are screaming, and then I think there's a whole bunch of them that think if we only let somebody have 10 rounds in their magazine, it'll save lives.
Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of asinine too. What you call it? Moving on. What you call it? I was sent a link by Patriot earlier today, and I read it's to do with St. Tony's not here. To do with Illinois. Some state senator is putting a bill that anybody, because of that massacre that happened a couple of weeks ago with that guy who had a FOID card, but it was revoked, and he never turned in his gun. Now they're doing one that anyone that is revoked now, the police will come to your house and take your gun or guns away from you, ammunition and everything. And not only that, say it was your son whose card got revoked, but you had a gun collection, yours go too. And there's no recourse to get them back.
Now, do you think the law enforcement's going to say, we don't have the resources, we don't have the money and manpower to do this, therefore you need to, raise taxes and get us more stuff, or we can't enforce this, or...
I don't know. What do you think about Illinois? I mean, I don't know Illinois that well. That's why I was told to hear from Tony. But he's not here today.
Yeah,
he's let me down.
It also said that it was going to report it to the NICS background check, put it on the whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it just said that there's no recourse if they made a mistake. It's just kind of like, sorry, but your luck.
And let me say welcome to the Gun Channels member, formerly known as Alaska 556.
Hey, you made it this week.
I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. How are y'all doing?
All right.
Good.
You didn't have to work this week, huh?
No, not this week. They tried to get me to work, but I'm already working way too many hours, so I told them I need a day off.
All right. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I tell you what I want to talk about. Black powder. I've been looking at buying the 1860 Uberti. What do you think? You got one of those, haven't you, Squib?
Not yet. I've got a 1847 Walker. I've got a Lamat. I think is it a Navy? I think it might be a Navy Lamat. And then I've got a new model Remington Navy.
Okay. What call it though? Besides just the pistol, Tony told me I'm going to need a black powder flask with a spout, an adjustable powder measure. I'm going to need some wads for there. I need a capper thing to put the caps in. Then I need some lube. Is there anything else I'm going to need to get started?
Well, some of that stuff is optional. It just depends on how easy you want to make it in loading. You can just get away with a powder measure, powder, wad, obviously round ball, bullet, and percussion caps. And then I'd recommend that you've got a multi-tool or some needle nose pliers and maybe a pocket knife, and you can get by with just that. Now, the flask makes it a little bit easier. There's several different. Well, I didn't say several. There are a couple different capping tools. I've got a couple of videos that I need to make time to edit that explain that a little bit better. There's what else? The lube he's talking about is like boar butter, or you could get away with using like Crisco grease or something like that. That's only really if you're going to carry it around, load it, or store it. If you're just take it out to the range, shoot it, and come home and clean it, you don't really have to put any lube at the very end. And I would say make sure that you've got some decent cleaning brushes to get into the nooks and crannies, and some of those Q-tips that are tapered on the the ones that they sell with the 6-inch wooden stems. Those kind of get it, or pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners will do it too. After you shoot it, you want to come home and wash it with hot soapy water. The last thing that you would use on a modern gun, you want to use that on it, and then you want to get it all dried out fairly quickly, and you're trying to get the residue out of the nooks and crannies. But any of the equipment you get for loading it and firing it, it's more a matter of making it faster and more convenient.
Okay. Now, Black Cat Outdoors in the chat, he was going, you can get a flask that also measures the powder.
Yeah, like the flask. It would be set.
Yeah, go on.
It would be set to a certain charge, whereas you can get another one that it kind of adjusts like a tire gauge, and you can set it for different charges. I haven't used the flask yet, but it would be fast and convenient. You can also get preloaded paper cartridges, where it's all in a paper sleeve, and you got your powder and your bullet all in there, and you can load those up, or you can make them yourself. They've also got little vials where you can have your powder charge in a vial and just dump it in each chamber. You've already got them pre-measured at home, and you're just ready to go. It's not a quick thing, but the more money you spend on it, the quicker it'll be.
Okay, but he also says you absolutely need grease or wads. Chain fires suck. Now, what's a chain fire?
Okay, chain fire is when you get a flash from the charge going off, or say you've got some excessive powder or something on the front of the cylinder, and it somehow catches the next one on fire. The only thing is, with that lead ball jammed in there, I've never experienced a chain fire where it's causing all the other ones to go off. I only use the lube for like maybe the first shot if I preloaded at home or something like that. The wads are lubricated, but your each chamber is sealed off by the lead ball. So I mean,
yeah,
a chain fire is a possibility, but if you do it right, you should be fine.
Yeah. Oh, Black Cat Outdoors says he's had a chain fire. So
how did it hop over and pass through solid lead and solid steel?
I don't know. He hasn't put that part in there. If you can,
I'm not saying they're impossible. I'm just
you can join the chat.
Yeah. But the lube, the way it was explained to me when I got my first black powder revolver, is the lube isn't to stop sparks from going into it's more to keep moisture out and to help kind of lube it as it goes down the barrel, keep it clean, that's why you can use something as simple as Crisco grease. I will say this though, at different temperatures, the lube tends to be more liquidy than at other times. It's just kind of weird. Sometimes the stuff will be kind of really hard and kind of caked up, and other times it's kind of just sloppy and messy. But the wads are lubricated. It's just wool or felt or something impregnated with a lube. So I recommend using wads. Unless you're trying to do some sort of crazy rapid reload. But typically people will just buy extra cylinders and swap out the cylinders. The cylinders are expensive. If you think Glock mags are expensive, price some of the cylinders for a black powder revolver.
I have. They're almost as much as the gun is.
So Rick, you getting into black powder just to try something new, or have you shot one yet?
I shot some black powder rifles. I haven't done a black powder pistol, but I've done a couple of rifles a couple of years ago, and I thought I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I've been thinking about it.
Black powder's fun, but understand that it's you look at the cost of the gun, you go, man, it's a $200-300 gun. Oh, this is great, and they're thinking, oh, this is, and then you start getting all the stuff that goes with it, and you start getting more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. Before you know it, you're like, dang, man, this thing costs a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, it's like reload.
And for some people, they're real impatient. I mean, if you don't like revolvers at all, because, you know, that's slow, clunky old man guns, and you only like semi-autos, you are definitely not going to like a black powder revolver because it is slow to reload. Plain and
I love
simple.
revolvers.
But if you're not, you know, in a rush, you know, you're not an impatient hothead, and you're just out there for fun, yeah, they're a blast, man. Cleaning them up is kind of a mess. I've heard some people say, yeah, I'd have one, but I don't want to, you know, be there in a kitchen sink with hot soapy water. But I did a video called The Downside of Owning a LeMat Revolver, and the only reason I've left it up is because it's popular. I've got more views on that than any other video, and it is my absolute worst video ever. It sucks, but in the video, you can see me cleaning it, and I'm having problems with it at the range and stuff like that. What I'd like to do is I plan to redo the video and do it in a couple different segments and address some of the issues and do a better job on the video. But I've got one on where I shoot the walker, and that one shows a few things. And I did shoot some footage for the 1858 new model Navy, but I just haven't edited it and published it yet.
We're getting the feedback here. I think Black Cat got his YouTube Stu playing in the background.
Hold on. It might just be my head.
Oh, okay.
I don't have my normal headphones on. I just have my earbuds in.
Okay, we're okay now. We're not getting the feedback now. So.
Hey, Black Cat, how did you get the chain fire? Help me out with that. I mean, I know what it is, but help me out with that.
No idea. I usually use the greased wads between the powder and the ball, but I didn't have any, so I just loaded them normally. And on the second time I went through the cylinders, I had 2 go off at once. I don't know exactly how it happened, but I can tell you 2 went off at once because it pretty much made me shit my pants.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about not using the grease wads. I recommend, like I think I said in my LeMat video, or maybe it was my Walker one, if you're doing some sort of crazy behind-the-wall combat situation reload, you're not going to be worried about wads. But I was talking about the grease that goes over the lead ball after you're done loading everything. That I only do on the first cylinder. If I reload it at the range or whatnot, I don't put the it's called bore butter. I don't put bore butter on the second and third and fourth. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're using the wad between the powder and the ball, you don't need to worry about the grease. If you don't use the wad between the powder and the ball, then you want the grease.
Won't the ball fall out?
No, it's wedged in there so tight. Yeah. It is. Oh my goodness! You actually, if it doesn't come out, you've got to get a tool, and it's kind of like screws into the soft lead, and then you've got to try to pull it out or try to take the nipple out and punch it through the other. It's a mess.
Yeah, when you seat the ball on top of the powder, it'll actually leave a ring of lead on the outside of the cylinder.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what yeah, okay, I just see that in the chat right now. Somebody just put that in there as well. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm definitely leaning that way to get that 1860 Uberti Navy. You know.
No, the 1860 is an Army. It's a 44.
Oh, it's Army.
The Navy would be an 1851 or 1861 Colt Navy, and then the 1860 was the Army.
And really, I got both of them saved on the same page.
And another thing with that, it's 44 caliber, but the really 44 caliber black powder revolvers are 45 caliber, and I think are there 3 of them, Black Cat? 451, 454, and 457.
Somewhere there's actually this should be better audio. I switched downstairs. I got my headset and stuff now, but I switched. The Ruger uses a special one. I think it's 455 for the Ruger. I have to look. I don't know where the hell I have lead balls around here somewhere because I'd have to find them. Is my camera on? Yeah, it is on. Okay. I think this one's a Pieta. I think these are .451 bore, so you use a .452 ball. Does that sound right? I have to find the ball.
Sorry, inside of a machine right now, and I can't get the. I use a 451 in the Lamette and a 457 in the Walker.
Okay. Well, I have the Walker. Maybe it is a 457 for this too. This should use the same ball as a Walker. It's just that this one's a Pietta and not the Uberti. But that's the 1860 Army right there.
Yeah. All right. I'm definitely leaning that way. I really am. I know I should buy my 380 Easy, but I decided I've been talked into waiting because I'm going to the NRA show, and I figured I can look at them all, hold them in my hand to see what feels good before I bite the bullet and buy one. You know?
What do you just want it to play around with at the range, or
what's that?
I mean, what do you expect out of it? Do you want it just to play around with at the range, or
on what? What are we talking about now?
The 1860. Do you just want the Colt because it's a Colt model, or
I'm just buying the Uberti 1860 Army just to play around with.
Okay, because the sights, like if you go with the Remington, you'll actually get like sights on it. That actually has like a gutter sight, almost like a modern like snubby.
Yeah, I was thinking of recommending the Remington over the Colt for somebody who just wants one or who's just getting into it. But I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you said it first.
Yeah, I prefer the Colt as far as handling goes. Like I've had this particular one since I was like 18 years old, and I used to piss around with it and practice drawing it and stuff. And then when you get to the Remingtons, they're a little bit more. I don't want to say it. They're not as smooth. The action.
They're more user friendly. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They're more user friendly. They're easier to clean, and they have a little bit better sights. But as far as feel in your hand, the Colt feels better in your hand, and it's easier. It's easier on the Colt to manipulate the hammer and stuff. So if you want to learn like fancy tricks or something, then it's easier to do it with the Colt.
All right, I'll have a look. See what's up there. Anybody else interested in black powder out here in the panel? What about you, Kingpin?
I don't mind. If I was going to get into the black powder stuff, I'd do it just for collectability. I'm not really interested. Obviously, I'd take it out to the range once or twice, but I really wouldn't be interested in packing and doing all the extra legwork. And right now, the black powder rifles, every time I go to the range, there's one on either side of me. So they take their shot, and then my box fills with smoke, and I can't see anything.
Yeah.
But no, I think they're super cool. But if I was going to get into black powder, it'd be more for the collectability thing.
All right. How about you, Patriot? You ever thought about it? Smoke shouldn't bother you.
As a kid, my parents built them, to use the kits and stuff like that. And so that was a little, something different as far as, just going out and buying one. I don't know. I mean, I'd like one of the pirate pistols, something like that. But I don't know. I mean, I'd like to build one where you get it and you finish the wood and all that stuff and put it together. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be a pirate pistol, so I can shoot a predator.
What about you, Sean?
I do like the Lamette, the idea of using a Lamette, but the maintenance and the cleaning schedule and everything on that, it's just one step above rimfire for me.
Yeah, I'd like
Just
to throw in a
finicky.
mini cannon too. That would be kind of cool.
Just a bit too finicky for me.
Midnight Range says their forklift guy has a video on black powder revolvers.
Oh, I'm there. I'll see you guys later.
I think isn't that you, Squib?
Squib's best friend.
Yeah, it's forklift guy.
Forklift guy the second shift material handler who doesn't do his job, by the way, who worked first shift today repacking parts and has left the building. But yeah, apparently he's more popular than me. If I go up to him and go, "Hey man, you're a freaking YouTube legend by now," he's going to have the most perplexed look on his face.
I got a question about the old school revolvers. If these are 1800s and stuff like that revolvers that people would be wearing on a regular basis, did they back then have to clean them and treat them as delicately as you guys take care of yours, or do
They
you
were
guys do
supposed
that?
to.
Most
Typically, the guys who had to do that carried spare cylinders preloaded.
Okay, I have heard two things on that. One, it's true, and one, that it's false. The true statement says that there are pictures of cylinders and cartridge cases that you wear on your belt, or that there are pictures from the manufacturer's catalogs or from their box sets where they sell them with extra cylinders. And then there's other pictures that show people carrying 4 or 6 pistols because they didn't have extra cylinders. So I don't know which one is actually correct.
Couldn't both be true?
Possibly, but I don't want to say for sure without checking my facts completely.
I'll show you something here. If you were carrying Colts, like Bill Hickok was a Colt Navy model fan, okay?
Yep.
He carried 2 of them. You're not going to be switching cylinders. In order to change the cylinder out on this, you have to drive this pin out, this wedge, out of here, and then use the plunging lever to break the gun apart and take the cylinder out. Now, if you were carrying the Remington, all you have to do is pull that out, go to half cock, and you can pop that cylinder out.
Yep.
And then you could put a new one in. Now, the problem is, though, that on a modern one, it's real easy to do that. Back then, you could run into timing issues if they didn't have everything cut exactly perfectly. So I don't know how popular that was. I mean, these were machined and hand fitted back in the day. So I don't know how popular that would have been.
I would say it's more plausible that they would carry multiple guns, but then again, you run into the cost factor. People didn't have money back then; they were poor, so you know, to afford 4 or 6 guns would be difficult as well. As far as I can't even say it right. Firearm maintenance in the 19th century. If you go onto a channel called Arizona Ghost Riders and look at their firearms maintenance in the Old West video. It's a pretty good one, and it kind of explains what they had to do. So,
I'll say another good channel if you want to get into black powder stuff is a guy named Dustin Weniger.
Yes,
Squib might know who he is.
Yes. Yep.
And he actually had a video of, I believe it was a Navy, an 1851 Navy, that he loaded in his safe for a year and pulled it out, and all 6 fired. Yep. So you can actually leave these loaded. The problem is when you fire them is when you get the corrosive salts and the powder and everything, then you have to clean it right away or they will rust. This, if I can get it up close to the camera, you can see where this has rusted different times because I didn't clean it quick enough or something, you know, left a little bit of corrosive salts on there. It's also on, I have no idea how many sets of nipples this has had in it over the years. The more you shoot them, the nipples will corrode because it's real hard to clean them, and you have to replace them every so often.
You need a special wrench to take them out, and you can buy them either manufacturer replacements, or there's a company called Track of the Wolf that sells aftermarket replacements that are more like the originals. And I've been told by another YouTuber, sorry I can't remember his name, that the ones from Track of the Wolf, because they're more accurate, you have less issues with the percussion caps falling off. Because while the cylinder's rotating, you're firing, these things have a tendency to fall off. Either the ones you just fired will jam in the mechanism, or one of the ones that hasn't fired yet will just pop off and hit the ground. And I mean, there's some issues with them. They're not for somebody who isn't willing to put in the work, I'll say.
No,
but they're not bad. They're not bad.
Is that gun that you have there, Black Cat, the Remington or the Colt, that was made in 1858?
No, all ones I have are replicas.
Yeah, they're all replicas.
Like
Okay.
this, the oldest one I have is the 1860 Colt. This one, like I said, I got 20, like close to 25 years ago. I've had that long. So that's the oldest one I have. Most of the Remington I got, I don't remember. That's maybe like 8 years old, and I just got I have a Walker up here, just like Squibs too, that I just got for Christmas. There's that's the Walker there.
Wasn't that named after a Texas Ranger?
Yes, that's the Walker was ordered
By
a guy by the name of Samuel Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
Was he a captain, I think, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it was Captain Samuel Walker was what it was. He ordered this gun specifically as a horse pistol. He wanted something that was powerful enough to take down a horse. Is kind of the legend of it. Whereas most of the guns at the time, when 1847, most of the guns Colt were making at the time, their most popular model was probably 47 would have been the first model Dragoon.
The Patterson, right?
The Patterson was 1836. That was the very first one. The first model Dragoon, I want to say, came out right before this came out.
Oh, okay. I thought the Dragoons came after the Walker.
I know the second model Dragoon came after the Walker because that's where you get the clip for the loading gate. The Walker might have come out before the Dragoon because the Walker, they learned the lesson. You can see like this doesn't have the clip that the 1860 has on the loading gate. Under heavy recoil, this can like flop down. So what you'll see is a lot of the old guys had like a strip of leather that went around here to hold it, and then you'd slide that up and then load your cylinders and then put the leather back around.
When I shoot my Walker, I load it with a full charge. I cram 60 grains in there, and I will have that loading lever fall and jam the next chamber, or it'll fall into the empty chamber there, or if it's spun around, I've already shot that one up. So I got a hold of Dustin Weiniger about that, and he said, yeah, just put less powder in there, and you'll see that go away. So it's like, oh, man, you know.
See, like this one here, you'll see this was the improved, this started on the Dragoon, is the improved loading lever where it has a little wedge in the front to keep that from happening. That won't come down.
All right. Great. On the old black powder stuff.
So all I'm saying is, if you get it, if the price is what gets you in the door, or the laws in your state is what gets you in the door, or you're just kind of interested in the historical aspect, that's fine. Just don't be surprised when you start getting all these auxiliary expenses, or just see how much effort there is to it. I'm not discouraging anybody, but you know me. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not a sales guy. So,
I will say they are fairly cheap to shoot once you have everything.
Yeah,
once you have
because you
your
can
whole
use
kit
it for
made.
other guns. Yeah.
Right. I mean, usually it's just powder. Balls are cheap. You can get 100 lead round balls for like $12 or $14, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. I'm going to do some more research, and I'm definitely going to do it. I'm definitely getting into it. Just like it'd be just like reload. More stuff for me to get into, you know. All right. Now we're going to move on to more pressing issues. One of the bills going through the House or recommended is H.R. 1263. It's the amended Internal Revenue Code to put all semi-automatics who have detachable magazines under the NFA, where you have to get a tax stamp for them. And from what I'm reading is, then they're going to give you 180 days after the law passes for everyone to register their semi-auto and pay the tax stamp on it. That's what we got to look forward to. You know, I was trying to put a positive spin on it there, Patriot, but I don't know if I did. Talk to me, Patriot.
Sorry, I've got a house full of preteen kids
Oh,
running
okay.
around. So
Did you hear my thing
it's
on
a
that?
little loud.
Did you hear my thing on 1263?
Yeah. As long as you're not sitting down and you're talking to some other people and let them know that don't know about it, because I'm sure there's people that are listening that haven't read it.
Yeah.
Make sure you read it and make sure you talk about it.
Yeah.
Just sitting here talking to each other about it doesn't change anything.
No, you're right. All right.
I'm sure most of the congressmen that are going to vote on it haven't friggin' read it.
No, because all they see is the internal revenue code. They don't read the rest of it. You know, but that's a dangerous one. You know, I don't know what else to do. Oh, I know what I was going to mention. Real quick, change the subject totally.
Just remember, if you sit on your butt, everything's dangerous.
That's right. That's right. You know, how can I'm gonna say? I mean, I got up to 200 subs. I'm gonna lose a few now. From what I'm about to say. Don't get me wrong. Put it this way: it's a great idea. Is this 2A patch thing they're doing where you can get for 12 patches for $50 or whatever. That's being done by gun channels or G webs, right? Which is a great idea. But what I'm finding funny, right, is they're talking about they're going to get it all ready for people to be able to hand out at the NRA show. Half of them can't stand the NRA. So why do they want patches to hand out there for? You know, to me it seems hypocritical. Or am I seeing it wrong? Talk to me, guys.
That was just a kind of a timeline thing. It was just to pick a date, and that was something that was coming up that's kind of big, and he just worked back from there. So it's not designated just for that. But if you were going or whatever, then you could have them. But it's otherwise, you don't want just a floating date out there. So
okay, that makes sense.
I don't think he went through and picked it just because of the NRA thing, because that he could have did it about Tulsa, but that's a little bit closer. So you got to pick something off in a distance, I guess. I don't know. Just what I thought about it. Damn kids.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I must admit, I heard it I was listening to the chat the other night, and I heard that part, and I'm thinking, oh, God damn, I said, half of you don't like the NRA. So I'm thinking, but okay, that makes sense to me now. Okay.
Well, I'm an NRA member, and I'm not going to drop out the NRA. I think a lot of people take a lot of stuff the wrong way, like they did with the Hickok video, I mean, you have to, if you watch the whole video and understand what the man is trying to say, I think you would understand, I just think people watch a little bit of it or just hear a little bit of what the NRA says and says, oh my God, they're anti-gun, we're done with them, but.
Yeah, I've done 3 voiceovers on speaking squibbish about the NRA, and I can't get them under 15 minutes. And I don't know if I want to put one out or not because I just think that's a little bit long. And I kind of let everybody have it with both barrels. And in the video, I say more than once, I'm not calling them saints because I'm trying to get people to stop shutting their ears and listen instead of going all clickbait, and the very first thing they hear, and that's just it. And at that point, their mind is shut. And it's like, for some people, they haven't been around long enough, and they don't have perspective. Whether they're not old enough, and they don't remember a day, or they are old enough, but they weren't involved in any of this stuff until recently. And for other people, it's just, well, Joe Blow Channel X said this, so I'm just going to get on my channel and say the same thing without checking my facts. And it doesn't do our community any good. There's a lot of things that go on in our community that aren't going to change. They're just not. And they don't do it a lot of good. So.
Hey, Squib, you lost me after that squibbish. That like you lost me. Well, could you repeat that? Just messing with you.
No, but it's yeah. So you see why I don't want to make it 15 minutes, but I've done three takes on it, and I just can't say it in under 15 minutes. So I don't know if I should release it or not.
Yeah. Oh, just real quick before we carry on. John Brown Productions asked on the 1263 HR 1263, does it include handguns? The way I read it, it doesn't, but it wouldn't take much to change it to say that in there. But right now, it's only long guns, you know, with detachable magazines. So, anyway, okay, back to what we were saying. Yeah, I'm a member of the NRA too. I mean, my membership runs out sometime next year because I think when I first got in, I'd done a 5-year deal the very first time or whatever. So, you know, I mean, I'm upset with them a little, but just because, you know.
I'm penciling Connery in again this year on the ballot.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go to the NRA show because it's right here in the same state, 2-hour drive from where I'm at. So I plan on going anyway. So, you know,
I think that at some point, some things are going to change this. It's not going to be right away, but at some point, some things are going to change. What I'd really like to see overall is the four big national groups all have about the same equal membership, and those membership numbers being in the millions, enough that if one goes to Capitol Hill and says, "Hey, we got all these members, we're not going to take this," they blow them off. They got to be worried that the next three behind them are going to come in and do the same thing. I'm not saying that these guys should merge or work together because they're all after your money. I don't care what you want to say about any of them. They're all after your money.
oh yeah, absolutely.
But they're like one of those necessary evils kind of things in life. And for somebody who says, "Oh, I can't accept that," well, then you're just naive because that's the way life is. I'm not saying it's a preferred way. I'm not saying I like it or whatever, but sometimes you just have to deal with it. So in dealing with it, it would be great if, there were 5 or 10 million members in the 4 big national organizations, and it scared the crap out of Congress. But right now, they're only scared of the NRA. They're not scared of any of the others.
You know what I'm finding funny right now is a lot of these channels are screaming no compromise, right? But then I hear them talking about the red flag laws, and they're going, well, if they put in there, that if somebody filed a false complaint, that they would be arrested for doing that and be a felony and stuff. Well, so right there, you're admitting that you're willing to compromise. If the red flag law goes through, if they put this in there, that'll be okay.
You're right, Squid. It will eventually change. It's not going to change right away, but eventually it will. But what kind of irritates me is certain channels who, you're right, they want it to change right away. They want it all right now. They want to scream, "Shall not be infringed," shall not be infringed with the bump stock. Make videos of taking our bump stocks away. That's so unconstitutional, and which it's not. Bump stocks were never protected under the Second Amendment as accessory. It's I personally don't care, but I understand. Because next could be the magazines or whatever. But people need to do their research, and if they're getting on YouTube and making videos just saying, "We're not going to take it. We're going to shall not be infringed, no matter what." That's just childish and helps nothing.
So when Patriot was, giving me all this crap about not writing letters, and I told you guys before about me writing letters in the past stuff, and I decided to write those 2 letters. I wrote one to the mayor of Pittsburgh and one to Chris Cox. I didn't write it to Trump or Pelosi or whatever, but I wrote one to Chris Cox, and I let him know, hey, look, we're not stupid. We know you care more about the FUDs that are giving you thousands of dollars every year and you want to appease them. But one day they're all going to be dead, and then you're going to have to deal with us. Now, of course, he won't be around by then. There'll be some other starchy guy in it, just like him.
Did he answer you?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I thought about writing Colonel North because, Marine to Marine, but, he's just a figurehead. So he doesn't have any real power, per se. I mean, he might be able to pull Bruce Wayne off to the side there and be like, hey, man, I got this letter from Squibb, and he's a fellow devil dog, and I think we need to talk about it. But he's not. So, but, in my 15-minute rant about him, I explain why they have guys like that there. I hear a lot of people going, they need to go. Well, they do need to go, but there's a reason they're there, and it's probably not what people think. And there's a reason for a lot of stuff, and it's probably not what people think. And it's, like I said, there's a lot of parroting going on in our community, and I just would like to see some people stop and check the facts, or every now and then it'd be nice if you had just a different opinion, and even then, some opinions that you hear people say about other people in the community or other things, aren't necessarily based on their love of the Second Amendment. It's based on other things that are kind of internal and separate issues. And like I said, there's a lot of things dividing us, and they're always going to be there. I just don't think we're going to get away from that. Somehow or another, we got to figure out a way through it for the common goal. We're not there yet, and neither are organizations like the NRA or GOA. So
You're right. Anyway, I'm going to interrupt the chat right now because it's almost 4 o'clock, and I haven't done my halfway answer to my quiz for last week. And the prizes was a Smith & Wesson patch, my little trading card thing there, my sticker, another Franklin Armory patch, and a bunch more stickers here. That is the prize for this week. For last week's question. And actually, I had a good response. I had about 7 of you, which is, I think, almost one of the highest. So, where's my super duper random picker here? Let's do it. Unknown user is the winner. I don't know if he's in the chat today or not, but he won the swag pack. Let me write that down before I forget. Unknown user. All right, and while we're at it, I'll go ahead and do the question for next week's or this week's question, and we got a military arms patch, cargo. Was that how you pronounce it? Patch.
How'd you get one of those?
What?
Military arms patch.
G-Webs sent me a pack. Sent me a gift, a swag pack to give away.
Okay.
My trading card, and G-Webs, my sticker, another sticker, and a writing pad.
You guys haven't gotten a Rickslifeasiseeit sticker. It's awesome.
This was given to me by a lot of these stuff here was given to me by what was it? Gun Loving Stanley or Grandpa, whatever his name is. So, well, anyway, the question is, and this question was supplied by, I think it was John Brown Productions, I believe.
Nice.
So he can answer. In the TV show Dragnet, in the opening credits, Joe Friday's badge number is showing. What is that number on the badge?
Ooh, it's a good one.
And email me the answer, and it's not 42.
4473.
And email me at rickslifeasiseeit by gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com by next Saturday lunchtime. So, there you go. That is the question for next week. And if you guys got any questions or like that you want me to ask you for if you got any quiz questions, send them to me with the correct answer and I'll use them. And if you got any topics you want us to talk about, send those too. for either today's show or Wednesday's show, Shooting with Disabilities. Either one. So, anyway, carrying on. What are we going to talk about next? Anybody got a topic they want to bring up? With everything going on in the world today, we got anything we want to talk about? How can we? Oh, I got another one here. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to ask a quick question. I know you guys were back, you're off the black powder stuff, but like I said, I've been getting yelled. Anyway, the flintlock pistols. Do you guys know a name of, like the pirate style? If I was going to look one up, because obviously they show images, but don't really do those. You know what I'm talking about? It's got the little brainer on the end of the grip, so you can hit somebody in the head with, and it's
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it sort of like a handheld blunderbuss instead of a rifle? It was smaller as a pistol.
No.
Yeah, it has two hands.
They were
one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm looking. I'm trying to find a link here.
Hammer or something, because to me, I picture it as a flintlock style, or a matchlock or whatever. But just I mean, they can be percussion, I'm sure, where it's I don't know, because they're only single shot. They're not a revolver or anything. But I guess it would be like the patches that. No, because those are supposed to be revolvers. So I don't know. It's got the same grip angle, kind of not a mare's leg, but more of a swoop back. I don't know. The pirates always had them. So anyway,
I know. I can see it. I can see it.
I just don't know what they're called.
But I can't remember the name of them either.
If you look up a pirate pistol, they look at you stupid when you're at the gun show. So anyway.
Most of them were a version of like a dueling pistol.
Okay.
The blunderbuss is its own thing, kind of really. And Rick's right; it's shorter than like a musket. It was kind of. Yeah. It would have been like a carbine, you know what I mean, length, but it would have been super large bore.
Yeah, because that's more of a shot.
Yeah, they shot just about anything out of that. You could stuff anything down that and shoot it. But
yeah, I'm
like
just thinking of the single ball, or I guess it could be double barreled. I don't think so. I can't remember because I know I seen them when I was a kid. We had one. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I concur with Black Cat that I would be looking for like a dueling pistol. I think that back in those days, they weren't necessarily mass produced. They might have been on a pattern, but they were all handmade. So. I mean,
I know you can buy the kits and you can put them together. I mean, we did that back in the 70s.
If you wanted an image of an authentic one, I would say go to the NRA Museum website.
There was like a British naval pattern pistol, same as there was a British naval pattern musket, and there was a Spanish naval pattern pistol. Most of them are going to be, I would say a lot of them are, like what your standard. Your people that worked on the ship and stuff would have been stuff like that was pilfered from other ships. They were pirates. Okay. Now, if you were like a captain of a pirate ship that had money, you might have, ended up contracting somebody to build you like a set of dueling pistols that you carry. Actually, a lot of them carried a brace of pistols. They would have had did you ever see the movie Boondock Saints where he has pistols going down both sides of his chest?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have carried something that they would have gone into battle wearing something that looked like that, so they didn't have to reload.
Okay, sorry to go off tangent, but I was just might buy a kit. Now you got me all.
Yeah. I mean,
it's another project.
What do you call it? The company Traditions makes a pirate pistol kit and 50 caliber flintlock.
Okay. That's
probably not going to be as authentic as it could be, but it'll give you the idea. I guarantee you they were probably larger than 50 caliber. Most weapons of that era, 50 caliber was a smaller bored weapon of that era. I mean, most of them would have probably been like 58 to 69 caliber.
Yeah, I would imagine they would be too. So, all right. What else did I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, we talking. Squib brought it up a little while ago, but I was going to bring, like we sit here and write letters and stuff to to our congressmen and everything else, emails. I mean, doing email or handwritten letters and stuff. Is that doing enough? Do we need to do more? I mean,
Of course, it's not enough. Always got to do more.
Yeah.
Last
I would-
night I kind of went on a thing about facing away from your camera and actually talking to real people. If everybody in the chat and on the panel talk to one person a day, just in passing, whatever, and then rehash it, revisit it with them, a couple days later or something like that, because more than likely the people you think are pro-gun and know what's going on, they don't have a clue. Because not everybody has all the time to sit on these chats all the time, and they don't research a lot of stuff. I mean, you work 58 hours, 60 hours a week, whatever, you don't have time to sit and do that if you got a family. So if you can find out information, make sure you're looking up the right stuff and the information, it's going to be easier for you to pass it on to them, and say, hey, you might want to check this out, and then a couple of days later, ask them, hey, you get off your ass and check that out? Oh, you didn't? All right. Well, you got time right now. I'll go buy your donut and coffee or whatever they were going to do.
The problem is a lot of people don't know the information. They just say, this is what a lot of people do. They're like, they go out and meet new people. Well, the Democrats are coming for our guns and Trump's not going to help us. He's with them.
That was
And
the
it's
prerequisite to my
Yeah.
conversation last night was go and learn the information. Read the bills. Don't read the titles or your favorite YouTuber, what he thinks, because that doesn't make a difference. That's from his perspective or hers or whatever. So make sure you actually look it up, get the information, and look at the local stuff. The guys I watch online, I mean, besides Squib, nobody's really close to where I'm at. So listening to stuff online doesn't, it's not going to tell you the stuff that's happening in your neighborhood. And that's the most important, because people that are around you, your neighbors, whatever, if they don't know what's going on in your neighborhood, nobody's going to. They're not going to get it from the news. So if you look it up, make sure you follow the bills and check out the stuff. And then just, don't just focus on one point of information either. Make sure you verify it and check it out a couple different places. Because you could watch, X news or X website, and that's somebody's given stuff, maybe their opinion. So make sure you check it out, and then once you have that information, you can print it out. You can get a quick blurb, a sheet of paper, whatever, and just pass it off. Because the only way this is going to change is if you talk to people. Because the people that are on here, they're always on here. I'm sure there might be one or two new people watch it a day, but when that's, I don't know. So that's it.
You know what else? What else could happen, honestly, is a lot of these big pro 2A people, let's say G Webs or a Hickok, they could try to run for some sort of office, in their town. You don't have to be for Congress. It could be for some local office. Why don't they try to do that? Especially if you have a ton of subs on YouTube, you get out there and you run for office. Change it that way.
Subs on YouTube don't mean shit unless you can align yourself with a party. You can't get elected in a state otherwise.
Well, I'm not just saying, I'm just saying if you have 200,000 subs, well, Hickok has 3 million subs. Okay. So, but he lives in a Republican state. But if he ran for some sort of office, I'm sure he's pretty well known. I'm sure he would have a good chance of getting elected.
Can he afford to run for office, though?
Exactly.
I would leave it up to those other people.
Could he get support from the Republican Party in his state? I don't know if he could. It depends on what other. Here's the problem with politics: Democrat, Republican, whatever. That's why I hate both of them. Is you have to go with the party line on just about every issue if you want to get support to run for a political office. So whether you believe it or not, you have to go and toe that line. So say I doubt, I'm not a big Hickok fan. I think I have made that clear before, but I doubt that he would align with Republicans on a lot of stuff. That's why I would never be able to read. There's no way I would align with Republicans on a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Not that I would ever want to run for office, but there's no way I would ever, with my views, there's no way I would ever be allowed to run for office. There's no way they would ever support me.
He said before that he's conservative and he's libertarian, and that he I don't want to, I'm going to paraphrase him. He doesn't care how you vote. He cares that you vote, or that you do your research before you vote. And I'm not quoting him exactly on that, but he said that before. And I kind of feel the same way, even though I know some people that vote differently than me. When I've talked to them, they've been absolutely ignorant of the policies of the people they're voting for, or ignorant of the language of the proposal that was on the ballot that they voted for. And it's just irritated me that you claim to be so high and mighty and so smart and better than me and all these other things, and that your side is right and my side is wrong. But how come I know the issues, or I know the voting record of the person that I put my little check mark in, and you have no clue? So
I have a question. Okay, say you're a libertarian, or you're left leaning towards Democrats or whatever, and all their things that they like, or they think aligns with what you're thinking, except for the last thing on their agenda is gun control. And the other side, all their things is you don't like one of them, but their last item says we're pro-gun, Second Amendment shall not be infringed. Who do you vote for? Are you willing to sacrifice some of your 2A shit to get all the other 9 things on that list?
First of all, I don't think that ever happened. I don't think there's anyone on either side that's actually pro-gun. Not there. There might be a handful.
I know it's a hypothetical question,
but I'm just saying, if that goes back to that party line thing, and it doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, it is the guys there. There might be, like I said, a couple that are pro-gun, and they might be really good, but the majority, they're not. They don't care about that. That's low on their list. They'd rather have, who's getting the free city park and who's putting the freeway through, that's going to open up that big mall. That's all they're worried about, because that's the big dollars from their constituents or whatever. I don't see any of them actually being pro-gun, but that's the whole issue, I guess.
I think maybe what could be the biggest problem is that for most people, the Second Amendment is not on their radar at all. That's just a fact of life. They don't care whether they own a gun or not, whether they've shot a gun or not, whether they believe in freedom and liberty in this country or not. It's just not an issue for them. They're more concerned about taxes and health care and fixing the roads and immigration and free college and stuff like that before it's just not an issue to them. So the big thing is, how do you get more people to consider this an issue? How do you get people to care more about the Second Amendment than abortion? I don't know. I just don't know.
And that's when you push it as a liberty thing, because that's what it is.
I agree with you, Paige. That's what I was just going to say. People, it's not that people don't believe in the Second Amendment. People don't believe in liberty. They want what's best for them. They don't give a shit about anybody else.
You just got to figure and kind of gear your conversations that it's a civil right, it's a liberty, because I brought it up about the professors and all that kind of thing. They could give a shit about firearms, and half the people you think are pro-gun, they could really give a shit about it. And so telling them that that collectible car that they love so much, is part of that, cash for clunkers thing, and all the stuff's going to be destroyed, or they're going to ban whatever, V8s or V12s, inline 12s, whatever. They're going to ban those things, and that's going to throw up in their face. So, well, wait, that's not hurting nobody, whatever. But you got to kind of position it as a liberty thing, because that's what it is. I mean, it boils
Yeah, I mean,
down,
and
and I
you're
know
right
the
there.
car thing isn't a right and all that kind of stuff, but liberty is to everybody, and what is liberty? It's the freedom to do what you want, as long as you're not punching the next guy in the face, I guess. I mean, there's obviously
As long as you're not harming other people.
Yeah. And so that opens up a whole bunch of stuff, the libertarian side of everything. But if you can focus it as a liberty issue and bring it up to somebody, because everybody's got something that they enjoy and that they take for granted and they love, and if they lost it, they'd probably be pissed off a little bit. And so if you can kind of know the person you're talking to and see what their thing is, and kind of just kind of line it and discuss it openly like that, and not just jump right to that shall not be infringed and screaming and crying and all that other nonsense. If you gear it that way, they're going to listen, because screaming, if anybody screams at me, I just close my ears. I've had a lot better people scream at me with lots of stuff on their shoulders and collars. Just somebody screaming, I don't, it's just like a kid. They don't pay attention. Now, if you're talking, sensible, and bring it up, I don't know, in a way that they can kind of see your point of view without jumping right to the gun thing or whatever, then that might help. But
I agree on the screaming of shall not be infringed, but let's not disregard the saying shall not be infringed.
oh no,
And that's where I think a lot of people get mixed up in between screaming out shall not be infringed, and when I say that, I'm talking about they've got two fingers, they got a finger in each ear, doing the whole na 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 I can't hear you thing, and shall not be infringed is coming out of their mouth. But when you sit down at a table with somebody and you look at them face to face or over the internet or however you communicate, whatever means you might be using, shall not be infringed is exactly what it means. And so if you can discuss that and discuss shall not be infringed, it's very valid. But most of you guys are right. A lot of the shall not be infringed are just no, 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 I'm not, I can't hear you, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
That's kind of
You're
what that
chime in
liberty
for
thing.
this.
If you discuss it as a liberty thing, and whatever their idea of their little, I don't even know how to describe it. Their the thing that they enjoy and wouldn't want infringed. Of course, they're not the same. Things. Somebody liking cars is not the same as what the Second Amendment protects, but it at least open their eyes to that infringement on liberties and choices. Giving somebody else the choice to rule and tell you what you can do. So, go ahead.
all right. What I was going to say is on what you were saying there about liberty and all that kind of stuff. Before I got into guns, as you said, a lot of people, don't even think about the Second Amendment, but they think about liberty and freedom and all that. I mean, the way I didn't think about, I wasn't a big gun guy before I got into guns. I thought it was your right. If you want a gun, you can have one. If you don't have to have one. But I think I'm going to take Sean's. Let's see if I get his saying right. Always the Bill of Rights, right, was non-negotiable. And to me, that's what freedom and liberty means, is what that's all about. So it's not just the second; it's everything. So there we go.
That's part of the problem. A lot of people say they like liberty. Even a lot of people on the right say they want liberty, or a lot of people on the left say they want liberty. But look at people on the left. Well, no, I want liberty, but you shouldn't be allowed to own a gun. They're terrible. You look at people on the other side of the coin. I like liberty, but those gay people, they're terrible. They shouldn't be allowed to get married. You know what I mean? And you're letting your judgment cloud what side you align yourself with, and nobody's for actual liberty. If you can argue liberty, the freedom to do what you want to do as long as you're not harming other people, then you can reach the other side of the aisle. You know what I mean? I don't know who's closer to liberty or who's not closer to liberty, but I mean, I'm not having a good. I haven't slept in a long time. I'm having trouble forming this thought here, but I've gotten like 6 hours of sleep in the last 2 days. But
it's a very effective technique, though, to throw out for the greater good, though, because you have a lot of people who don't care about guns either way. Don't like them, don't love them, just not their thing. And when they hear or speed limits or any other kind of regulation that's put on it's going to benefit everybody. It's good for the people who don't have enough to do this or that. And that's a very effective argument, especially if I'm sitting here not interested in, topic X, and then somebody comes around and says, if we put restrictions on topic X, it'll make this much better and this much better. That's a convincing argument to make for a lot of people who are either riding the fence or don't know that there's a fence to ride.
Good point. Good point. Anyway, I'm going to move this on. An unknown user has joined us, and he put something here to talk about. He asked us if we covered this, and we haven't. He says, have we talked about all the sheriff departments that are refusing to enforce new control laws and creating 2A sanctuary cities? I think that's a great idea. But
that is a great idea. I mean, most sheriffs are awesome. It's more the city police.
Aren't sheriffs? Isn't it sheriffs that are elected?
Yeah, most sheriffs. I believe all sheriffs are elected, right?
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
When I lived in Kentucky, we had great sheriffs.
Yeah, but what worries me is what happens. The only thing I can think of is they would have the governors would have to use the National Guard to go in there and say, or state troopers or whatever to go in there and say, take over their whatever area they're covering.
Well, they haven't done that with the sanctuary cities for illegal aliens yet.
No, true. You're right.
When
they
you
haven't done that for the states that legalized weed yet either.
When you have a sheriff in your county or your state or whatever that is coming out and saying that they're not going to stand for an unconstitutional law or whatever that they're coming out to stand against, if you support that, you have to make sure that they know you support that. And send them an email, write them a letter, call them, stop by the office if you live near there. But if you live in that state, even if you don't live in that state, contact those people and tell them that you appreciate what they're doing. Because if they're standing out there by themselves, they're going to get crushed. But if they're standing out there with the whole community behind them, they're not going to be able to be touched.
Yeah.
I will say the only problem I foresee is what if sheriff in Los Angeles County or the police chief in Los Angeles County says, okay, well then guns are completely banned. This is a gun-free zone county now.
Well, they have courts.
Sanctuary county.
Yeah, but you have courts to back up that kind of stuff because that's what will happen with the sheriffs. Once somebody gives the sheriff an order to do X, Y, and Z, and the sheriff refuses to do it, sooner or later there's going to be a court date involved that's going to hash this out and say, it is constitutional and you can do it, so it is becoming a law, or it's not constitutional and the law has to be rescinded or rewritten.
Yeah, the problem with that is we haven't had it go all the way through the courts yet. The courts have refused to hear those kind of cases.
Yeah, and
it's going to take. You're talking about taking the Second Amendment all the way up to the Supreme Court again when one of these goes through, because you're going to have conflicting. If you're in the Ninth Circuit, they're going to rule that gun ban is completely fine, but a sheriff in California that has a gun sanctuary city, that's wrong. and then you're going to have to take it up to the Supreme Court level. And are they going to hear it or not? And will we get the ruling we want or not?
Yeah, and I'm totally, I definitely don't have my head in the clouds thinking that this is going to happen overnight or anything like that. I'm totally aware of all the red tape, but if processors are followed properly, then that's the way it would go. But once again, politicians, lawyers, and insurance companies will be involved, so it's not going to be proper.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think insurance is a good way to get Second Amendment done. If you change the tort laws, if you ever looked at tort laws and make it, if you make something a gun-free zone, then they're liable to protect you. So say a mall says we are now a gun-free zone, you're not allowed to have guns. If there's a shooting there, you can sue the shit out of them. Because right now, that's not the way it is. They took away your ability to protect yourself. You change the tort laws like that, watch how few gun-free zones there are.
Well, the same thing with the municipality all the way up to a state level, where they restrict your right to have it, carry it, train with it, whatever, right? Then you say, okay, then you're going to have to invest more money in law enforcement because we're going to have a cop standing on every corner. And they, well, we can't afford that. Well, then therefore your law is unconstitutional. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Oh, yeah. Now, John Brown Productions in the chat is what happens when the sheriff loses the next election. Right? Now, somebody else has said it as well, but hopefully that sheriff is basing his decision on what the people who voted him in think. I mean, if everybody who voted him in is against guns and he said this is going to be sanctuary city, he ain't going to win the next election.
Well, yeah, and if he loses his election, what he does is he shakes the hand of the new sheriff, neatly cleans up his desk and removes his name from the door and goes and does something else. Because that's what happens when, like what Obama say, elections have consequences. If you lose, you move on and let the next person take control.
Yeah.
Yeah, Obama should have listened to his own words then. He hasn't moved on. Rotten bastard.
See, this is why I'm always saying that if you live in a place where the laws are oppressive, they've been oppressive, and they're only getting more and more oppressive, and they keep voting the same kind of people in, they're telling you, the people that are voting these people in are telling you they don't want you here because they don't believe in what you believe, and they've got more voting power than you because of the way the state's set up to, the districts, or there's more of them than you, or whatever it is. So that's your hint. Hey, it's time to go. And I know for some people, I can't move, I don't want to move, I'm not going to move, whatever, and that's your choice. But I'm just saying that in the same sense that people could vote in the next sheriff that is saying, I'm not going to enforce this unconstitutional law, they could vote in a sheriff that says, no, I'm going house to house and confiscating it. The people have spoken. Whether you agree with them or not, they've spoken, and they've said, we don't want you here because we don't like people like you. So you really need to think about where you're living. Can you fight for it? Some places I think are in a position where we can still fight. There are some places that we need to hold because they're in good shape and we don't want to lose that. And there's other places that are lost causes. And it's the way the people there vote. Unless you can get enough people to change the way they vote where you live, it's never going to get better.
Yeah, but you say that, take Illinois, for instance. They got some terrible gun laws, but a lot of people thought they were a lost cause. But in the last 2 years, they got concealed carry. Nobody ever thought that was going to happen.
Maryland had 3 what I'm going to call victories in the past couple weeks. Baltimore City schools, the officers are now allowed to be armed. Well, not immediately. I mean, there's process that has to go through, but they're going to be able to be armed. And the two new sheriffs, at least 2, and I think there may be 2 more, that said that there'll be not standing up for unconstitutional laws. Now, that doesn't make them sanctuary counties. That makes one dude standing up there saying this. But in this state, those are pretty huge victories.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if things like that make you say that your state isn't a lost cause, then it isn't a lost cause yet. But when you're saying there's nothing I can do, there's nothing I can do, this has been going on for 40 years, blah, 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 blah. What I'm getting at is it's not as much the politicians as much as it's your neighbors, your coworkers, and your family that vote opposite from you because they're telling you they don't want people like you there. They think you're dangerous. They think you're how did Sean put it, a criminal about to happen or whatever, right? They don't like what you like. They don't believe in what you believe. They don't want you there. If you want to stay there by your own choice because you think you can reverse this or you're not willing or able to move, okay. But or maybe there are a bunch of people that are like you and they're just not willing to go vote and their voices aren't being heard. And I don't know how you get them to get up off their, maybe you offer them a free bag of chips if they show up to the polling booth. But, I just, if we're a country where majority rules, and I know we're a republic, not a democracy, but majority rules, okay, 2/3 vote or whatever it is, and most of the people that are voting are saying we're not for people having the right to defend themselves. What does that say about the people, your neighbors and your friends and your family and your coworkers? They don't want you there.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you, where I'm the first state that comes to my mind is California is a lost cause. Because they've even rigged it, even their elections, that you could have two Democrats running against each other because it's how many votes the top two get out of all the candidates. And the two top Democrats get the most votes. They're the ones in the election. The Republicans he lost. He don't stand a goddamn chance. And all them, they want to have a nice, peaceful,
Squib.
according to Kamala Harris, they want a nice, peaceful state,
Squib, the chat wants to hear from Forklift Guy. Can you call him or something? They want to know his thoughts.
He worked first shift today. He's gone. He's not here.
He was on
There's
first
only
shift.
I think there's only 4 people in the factory right now. Okay. How many of you have got a half-ton GMC pickup truck or Chevy pickup truck half-ton?
I got the Chevy Silverado 1500. I don't know how many ton that is, but that's
that's a 1500. That's a half-ton. Okay. People like you are the reason I'm here today earning overtime. So thank you very much.
Hey man, I love my truck. It's awesome.
We're here because of the logo for the half-ton Chevy and GMC truck.
There you go.
Hey Rick.
All right, I'm gonna start winding this down, guys. We've been here an hour and a half.
Real quick, Rick. Do you have Tony's YouTube channel? Like, does anybody on the panel, can you post the link to that in the YouTube chat?
Does he have a channel?
I don't know.
I'd be under Tony York, I think. Wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Or
Tony don't make videos.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I don't know if he has a YouTube channel.
I think the only thing that he's got is just whatever he can do to hop on the Hangouts.
Yeah, I think that's all he's got.
Jimmy?
He has that his email. If you want his email, because that's Early Watch IL.
Yeah, no,
don't see
guy
a
that
YouTube channel.
comments was just looking for his YouTube channel, and I didn't know if he had one out there or not. But I know he used to do Early Watch, but
He probably has one, but he doesn't put content out, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to find him, you have to go to Gun Channel.
Yeah.
Because that's how he gets in. He goes through the Gun Channel links and stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure. That's a secret.
That was for guy that comments out in the YouTube chat. So
If he comes in through Hangouts, he has a Google account. Now, whether he has an active YouTube channel or not. If you have a Google account, technically you have a YouTube channel. I want to know, does Forklift Guy have a YouTube channel?
Lock screen.
No, and I don't think he's ever going to start one. Unless it's a channel about, getting high and driving around a forklift.
That could be entertaining.
Isn't that Tethers Are Us?
I'd sub to that channel.
I probably would too.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna start winding this down now, and because I don't want to turn it back into a food chat as Midnight Range loves doing, but I'm getting hungry. So, I will start with any shout outs or plugs, and we'll start off with Squib.
I'd like to give a shout out to the mute button, seeing how it's always out of reach.
We all
I don't
would.
know. I make videos. I put them on my channel. They suck. I don't care if you watch them. Thanks for the invite.
Hey, I like your Talking Squibbies videos.
Well, if you do, that's great. I appreciate that. And people that sub and watch and comment, especially the comments, I appreciate. But it's not really necessary. I'm not,
Yeah, and I like your train ones too, because I told you I'm fascinated by trains. I don't know why, I just am. So.
We're waiting for the fork truck one though.
Oh yeah, it's BSNF Burlington or BNSF Burlington Northern Santa Fe something. I forgot his name. He subbed to my channel, and I checked out his channel, and he's got some good train videos too. So if you go on my channel, look at my subs. There's another train guy I just subbed to, and so if you're interested in watching that stuff, they're out there.
You've got to do a tabletop review of the forklift.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a tough one. Let's see here. Can I do this? Okay. Here are the forklifts. Can you see them? Here are the forklifts. They are cheap, crappy Raymond rebuild forklifts. They're the stand-up kind. These are about the cheapest, crappiest forklifts you can get. How's that?
Yeah, next you need to do an interview with the actual forklift driver.
Oh my goodness. You guys are not going to rest until I get fired from this job.
All right. We'll go on to the next. Any shout outs or plugs, Patriot?
Yeah, hey Squib, if you can find a heister, I've got a key I'll send you.
Oh hell no, those are the ones that forward and backward is with the foot pedal. Forget it.
Oh, it's got a gas and a brake, and you just go forward or back. I mean, yeah. Anyway, just check me out. I'm causing trouble anywhere I can be. Today's what, Saturday? Check us out on Gun Snob if he's got a chat, or anybody else. Old Midnight Range TM on Sundays, and of course, make sure you come and check out Shooting with Disabilities Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you pay attention, you might even win something. And I'm still working on my printer to get it to print. Otherwise, I'll have a little kid filling out addresses, and that just doesn't look right. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, I know what I wanted to mention real quick is what am I going to do on Saturday mornings when I'm setting all my stuff up for this show? I listen to Caliber Corner.
Take over the Saturday morning slot. Go
Thursday
from 8 a.m.
Thursday nights at 7 Eastern.
Yeah,
so just take your notes in.
I'm going to miss him on Saturday mornings. It sort of gives me, I'm listening to him as I'm setting up my my channel up here if we get ready for the chat. Getting everything ready and all that kind of stuff.
Just do an 8-hour show on Saturdays now, Rick.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna have. Maybe that's what we're gonna have to do.
Make sure you get Tony in, and it could be an early watch Saturday edition.
Maybe I can, I don't know, go hang out with Forklift Guy on Saturday morning and start my own show.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd watch that.
So did Travis change his time, Rick?
Do what?
Did Travis change his time from Saturday?
He's changing his time and day because basically his wife's got a new job and she's having to leave to go up there. So so weekends he'll be traveling to see where she's at and vice versa. So he's not going to have time to do it on the weekend. So he's going to do it on a weeknight.
Gotcha.
hopefully, what I'm hoping, he didn't say it, but I'm hopefully when he finally moves and gets settled all in a new place and everything's set up here, go back to Saturday mornings. I don't know if he is or not. So, anyway, Kingpin, any plugs or shout outs?
Yeah, thanks, Rick, for having me. Make sure everybody likes, share, and subscribe to Rick's Life as I See It. And tune in Wednesdays at 7 for Shooting with Disabilities. The gun snob is not feeling well, so he's not going to be doing a show tonight. And if I have the opportunity, probably around 9 o'clock, I'll go live and fill in for him. I don't know just yet, but most likely I'll go ahead and go live at 9. So everybody's welcome to come and hang out.
All right. Black Cat.
Everybody go over and check out gun channels where they actually like guns, unlike YouTube. Congratulations on 200 subs, Rick. Thanks for letting me come on for your 200 sub show there. And check out all the guys in the chat and the panel here. Everybody has channels that I know of, and they all do good stuff. And have a good one, guys.
All right. And Alaskan, any plugs or shout outs?
Just for you, Rick. I'm your #1 fan. Thank you for the link. I'm about to probably going to work for a couple hours. So I am looking for something, though. I'm looking for some orange Bakelite AK magazine, 7.62x39. I can't find any anywhere. So if anybody knows where I can get some at a decent price, not no $70, $80 a piece, please send me email at joematt71@gmail.com. So thank you, Rick.
They've got to be Bakelite?
Yeah, I want the Bakelite, man. I want the Bakelite.
Would that mean that would they be orange or would they be plum color?
No, plum is I believe plum is they only made those for the 74, not the 47.
Yeah.
So you're looking for like an original Soviet?
Yeah, yeah. I want the surplus.
Yeah. Okay. So it would not be any sort of new production plastic reproduction. It's the real deal.
Old. Yeah.
Okay.
I had about 10. They usually sell for anywhere from $50 to about $100 a piece. I had about 10 of them, and they got stolen. And I don't know. It's just I just like those mags. I do have some cheaper ones like the P mags and stuff.
Go to the local gun show and buy them back at a substantially higher price because that's where they're going to end up.
No, they got stolen a while back before I moved here. There is no gun show here in Juneau, Alaska. There, Squib.
Patriot, give the guys magazines back.
I know somebody.
Yeah, I mean, like if you have something like that stolen, just go on Craigslist or eBay. Yeah. There they are.
But so if anybody knows where I can get any for a decent price, please email me. And thank you, Rick, and thank all you guys. Have a nice one.
No problem. I'll see you again next week. If you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not.
Awesome. Thanks, Rick.
All right. I want to say thank you to everybody for being here in the chats. I appreciate it. Don't forget the quiz. I want the badge number for the Joe Friday on Dragnet. And give me the email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. So
yeah, also make sure you guys check out the 2A Patch Batch 2019. Only
yes.
Got 4 days left or whatever. Wednesday's the last day, I think.
All right.
So
yeah.
And great deal for 12 patches.
And join gun channels if you haven't already. And if you like what you heard today, give me the thumbs up and subscribe. And I would appreciate it. All right. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Oh, I think what's going on during the chat today? G Webb's on his Minuteman University. He normally does one on Saturdays. So, all right. I will let everybody go. Talk to you later, guys.